look at this example. We're adding two fractions. For the first one, we have y over y minus 8, and our second fraction is 4 over y. You're going to notice that these two fractions do not have a common denominator, right? And that's going to be one of the first things we're going to need to do so that we can add these fractions together. Whenever you're adding or subtracting fractions, they have to have a common denominator before you can add or subtract the numerators. You'll want to take a look at each of your denominators, and you want to find the least common denominator. In this case, we can actually use y minus 8 and y as our common denominator. So that means we're going to multiply our first fraction if we want it to have a denominator of y times y minus 8, we're going to have to multiply our denominator here by y, and we'll have to do the same thing on top, right? This is equivalent to multiplying by 1. For our second fraction, we'll have to multiply our denominator by y minus 8, and we'll do the same thing on top. Again, this is the equivalent of 1, y minus 8 over y minus 8. So we're not changing our original problem at all. So let's go ahead and rewrite our denominator here. I'm not going to multiply this out, I'm just going to leave it as the two factors. On top, we have y times y, which is going to be y squared. I'll do the same thing for the second fraction. I'll leave the denominator as the two factors, and on top, I'm going to go ahead and multiply this one out. This is going to give us 4 times y, and 4 times negative 8, which would be a negative 32. And as long as we have the common denominators, we can go ahead and add straight across with our numerators. Remember to combine like terms, so this is going to give us y squared plus 4y minus 32. All of this is going to be over y times y minus 8. So this will end up being our final answer. You can always factor that numerator and check to see if there's any common factors in case you could reduce it. This numerator is going to factor into y minus 4 and y plus 8. And our denominator would stay the same. Right, and you'll notice that there's no terms that are alike in the numerator and denominator, so nothing here that we can cancel. So our final answer, we could go ahead and leave it as either one of these last two components. If you want to leave that numerator multiplied out, you can, or if you want to leave it in factored form, either one of those would be acceptable.